Another one of the Psalms, Psalm 133. We know it as Hine Matov. Behold, how good it is when brothers and sisters dwell together in peace. And when they don't, hold on tight. Many of us know sibling rivalry ourselves. Whether it be challenging relationships with our own brothers or sisters, maybe our own children or our own grandchildren, it ain't fun. Okay. And it can be really painful. Sibling rivalry is as old as time. And it dates back to the beginning of the Torah, whenever that date is. Starting with the first two siblings in the Torah, Cain and Abel, and we know that story ends in a really bad way, with Cain murdering his brother Abel. Throughout the book of Genesis, which we're getting ready to finish, sibling rivalry is a huge theme. Challenges existed between Isaac and his brother Ishmael, between Jacob and his brother Esau, between Joseph and his brothers who threw him in a pit and left him for dead. Even in the book of Exodus, which we're about to begin, Moses and his siblings, Miriam and Aaron, had their own issues. The Torah, Judaism. Unfortunately, it doesn't offer us much guidance on how to overcome sibling rivalry, sibling relationships in general. The book of Proverbs, though, teaches us a lesson about sibling rivalry, but it's a lesson that doesn't offer us a solution. It's a lesson that's a little unsettling. It says there are companions that are there to keep us company, and there is a friend that is more devoted than a brother. According to this, friends can sometimes be better than siblings. I want more. The 14th century thinker, the great Rabbi Levi of Gershon, known as the Ralbag, he taught that friends come and go, but siblings are in our lives, whether we like it or not, forever. Likewise, while friends may be there through thick and thin, siblings are especially likely to be there, he says, for the tough times. Here's a quote from the Ralbag, 14th century. One who befriends another is joined up with his beloved in good times and bad times. This is part and parcel of loving, that one does not abandon one's beloved in a time of trouble. He will rejoice when his friend does well and assist him when things go badly. While a brother won't be impelled to join with his brother in good times, in bad times for his brother, he will come to his aid, for he is his own flesh and blood. Some of us agree with this. Some of us are still left struggling with this. Friends make good company, the Ralbag said, and siblings often do not. This being, he said, he suggests that siblings share a fate and a sense of mutual responsibility. This is the essence of the sibling relationship that exists between so many people throughout time. But as we see in Torah, as we see in our own lives, as we see in the royal family, this sense of mutual responsibility doesn't always do the trick. Sibling rivalry can tear families to shreds. And as we see with Prince William and Harry, and as so many of us live in our own lives, it's not just sibling rivalry that does this. Anger, hurt, and so many other emotions can destroy family bonds. Because the bonds created by family, while often beautiful and powerful in a good way, can so easily turn sour and cause the family unit to crumble. Family bonds, when they work, they're amazing. But when they don't, we realize how fragile these bonds are and how much hurt they create when they shatter. And this shattering, well, just go back to the Torah. It's part of the Jewish story. So what do we do with this? Well, let's start with what we shouldn't do. It's a violation of Jewish law to say anything about another person, even if it's true, even if it's not negative, even if it's not a secret, even if it hurts nobody, even if the person, him or herself, would tell the same thing if asked. But especially if it's hurtful to the person, to the relationship, to a family. Judaism says it's wrong to do that. Lots of us do it, but that doesn't make it right. And when we do it using a public platform, while selling a book, for example, we turn our family drama into sensationalism. And while it might earn us a lot of bucks, it creates damage that just can't be repaired. Gossip in Judaism, it can be true. It can be factual, but it can't be taken back, no matter what. Harry is a wounded man, and he has every reason on the face of this earth to be as wounded as he is. Look what he has lived through. He talks about the desire to reconcile with his brother and his family, but his words, both written and spoken, are bombs that have obliterated whatever was left of the bonds that existed among his family. As lots of you know, I've had my own shattering in my family, and I've actually violated some of what I'm sharing tonight because I've spoken over the years about the pain that I felt because of my parents' divorce when I was an adult. If there's a genuine desire to heal, however, the Jewish tradition teaches us to keep our dirty laundry to ourselves. And that's the right thing to do, even though at times, boy, oh boy, does it feel good to spew it. Mind you, sharing your dirty laundry does not apply to speaking to therapists, advisors, spiritual leaders, and mentors. People you can trust to keep things close because it's not healthy to keep all of that stuff inside. But airing your dirty laundry, the prohibition against it in Judaism, does apply to being a yenta, sharing with anybody, especially with Oprah and Anderson Cooper, and writing a book, all the while saying you want to reconcile. Sadly, Harry is walking down a path that many of us, including our biblical heroes, have walked down. I think about the patriarch Jacob. who was convinced that his brother Esau hated him. And let me tell you, Esau had every reason to hate his brother. If you know the story, Jacob tricks his brother, steals what we call the birthright, and Jacob, who's the younger child, because of this deception, actually gets everything. Esau has every reason to hate his brother. They actually wind up meeting up in the desert. And Jacob, to say he was afraid for his life when he met up with Esau is an understatement. He was petrified for him, his safety, his security, and the safety and the security of his family. But some of you might know what the actual response of his brother is when their two clans come together. Jacob imagined it being a war. Jacob imagined it being a battle. Jacob imagined it being violent. But the Torah says this. When Esau, the one who was wronged, saw his brother Jacob, Esau ran to greet him. Esau embraced his brother, fell on his neck, kissed him, and the two of them wept. When sibling rivalry and family tension splits us apart, I know I do, and I know lots of others, we tend to demonize those who have hurt us. And we hurt them with our words, our actions, our deeds. Whether it be the stories in our tradition or our own life experiences, or the royal drama playing out on the other side of the ocean, we can learn a valuable lesson this new year, a lesson that we could easily talk about at Rosh Hashanah, but how lucky we are as Jews that we get 2 New Years. Our spiritual New Year and our secular New Year. And as this secular New Year begins and we watch an ancient family that's still in existence today fall apart, we're reminded that no matter how much you got, family dysfunction can affect anybody. And we're encouraged by our tradition to stop gossiping about the pain and realize, well, it might not necessarily bring us comfort. Realize that our pain, if we are living with family dysfunction, it's not unique to us. It's centuries old, goes back to Adam and Eve and their children Cain and Abel, and it's shared probably by a lot of people sitting around you just in this sanctuary tonight. And at the same time, there is hope, though, because in the Torah, we have Jacob and Esau. And I'm not in any way putting myself on a pedestal, but I say to you that I used the period of COVID to reconcile with my own father, who came with his new wife and sat at our Thanksgiving table for the first time in almost 2.5 decades. This is a new year. It's our secular new year, but that's okay. It's a new year. It's a new beginning. It's an opportunity. Any moment is, but this is a great opportunity. If you want, if it's healthy for you, if it's appropriate, if it's gnawing inside of you, to explore the idea of reconciling, of overcoming whatever it is that is the hurdle. Now, for some of us, that's not appropriate. The pain might be too much. And so I'm not up here telling you, you must do that. But if it's in you, now's the time not to perpetuate what was, but to create what can be. A new year, a good year, a chance to start all over. It can happen. In part, if you want it to. And so perfectly, so beautifully when I shared some of my thoughts with Cantor Jodi. She immediately shared a song that some of us know because we've sung this often on Rosh Hashanah. But it works perfectly at the beginning of 2023, reminding us that as we begin 2023, we got new hope. So sing with us if you know.
May this be a year of love and kindness. May strangers come to be friends. May truth and compassion always guide us. Amen. May this be a year of hope and healing for all of those in need. May all of our deeds be a blessing. Amen. A new year, a good year, a chance to start all over. A new year, a sweet year, a chance to bring us closer. May this be a year of selfless giving. May this be a year of peace. And may we forgive and be forgiven. Amen. A good year, a good year, a chance to start all over. A new year, a sweet year, a chance to bring us closer. Closer to the ones we love, a world that we can be proud of. Long as there are stars above, there comes a new